What's up, y'all? Winnie here, and welcome back to the SP Foundation Wiki. In the last episode, we read two, three, four, five, these five: The Emperor's New Watch, Papers, Please, Our Bellmaker, Our Radiant Skies, Finish with Lies, and King of the Mountain. Today, we're going to be checking out A Bender's Friends, The Perfect Lie Detector, Dr. Gale's Human Emporium, copyrighted, The Collective, and Our One Best Way. Let's see what A Bender's Friends are. Probably not the robot from Futurama. Euclid previously safe? SCP-1530 post-incident 1530B. I hope it's going to tell us what that was, but it looks like a decent length article, so probably will. SCP-1530 is currently contained 120 meters from Site 9. A 3-meter high chain link fences to surround the perimeter of 1530, 20 by 20 meters, and is to be displayed as government property to discourage trespassers. Request to use forced entry to access is pending. As of, I assume that's October 3rd, but it might be March the 10th. SP-1532 and 3 are to be kept in separate humanoid containment chambers. Required furnishing only includes bedding, though any request from 2 and 3 may be submitted to head researcher Reich for consideration. Tranquilizers are to be utilized upon any signs of distress from either instance. Interviews are to be conducted using disposable dudes and must be approved by 2 level 3 personnel. One is currently kept on life support and provided with medical attention. Description: SP-1530 is a 2-story abandoned house located somewhere in the forest. Looks like a specific forest. The exterior of the building shows wear and weathering consistent with long-term negligence. All entryways have been barricaded from the interior, preventing personnel access. 1530 will occasionally emit various sounds from within. When this occurs, its windows and front door will repeatedly slam open and close. The following sounds have been recorded from SCP-1530: barking and whining from a dog, yowling from a domestic cat, smashing and crushing of materials such as glass and wood, and screaming and cursing from a male human estimated to be around 40 to 50 years in age. SCP-1530 was discovered during the search for Disposable 2934 after testing with SCP-249. His tracking device indicated that he had entered 1530, though immediately stopped transmitting readings 16 seconds after entry. Communication with 2934 and other entities within has proven ineffective. Addendum B. During an active phase of SCP-1530, security personnel noticed that the front door did not open. It was then noted that the front entryway was unlocked, and Agent Bertkey and Agent Montalvo were sent in accordingly. Begin log. You are now clear to enter. Understood. Agent Bertkey. Right, so I'll just say Burke. And Montalvo enter a living room. With a set of stairs to the left, a portion of what is assumed to be a bedroom is visible across the hall on the right. The agents begin approaching while preparing their firearms. Ugh, nasty. There's dust and shit everywhere, covering the floor, the furniture, everything. None of this stuff was touched in a while. Kind of strange considering that we've been hearing this stuff being broken for days. Furniture itself looks pretty old. 70s stuff. Hey, what? There's a small patch of dried blood next to these stairs. Almost missed it. Looks like someone forgot to clean up after themselves. Big surprise. I wouldn't expect to find blood in another one of those generic spooky houses like this. Agents, please keep moving. As they enter the living room, barking can be heard as well as coughing and hacking. What the fuck? There's a cat and a dog, I think. They're just sitting there. Hold up, there's a man here. Jesus! D2934 is seen to be severely injured with a multitude of scratches and tears in the epidermis, most notably on his face. A domestic cat and dog are both standing on the man and are also injured. You guys finally showed up! Welcome to my new home! Revised description. As of, I guess, April 18th, 1990, SCP-1531 is a Caucasian man of approximately 50 years in age, formerly D2934. He was found with several injuries to the eyes and chest, as well as mutilation of the genitalia and several tears on the lips. All injuries originated from 2 and 3. One shows no anomalous properties, but was found alive inside 1530. One is currently recovering in Foundation custody and is also being treated for delusional behavior. 2 is a male calico cat. Current research into 2's genetic structure is ongoing concerning its coloring. 2 has sustained 2 major injuries, a large laceration on the underside exposing 2's abdominal cavity, and the removal of 2's lips. It also displays an anomalous anatomy, specifically in areas afflicted by its injuries. This includes increased mass in the mandible as well as in the thoracic and lumbar vertebrae. It also lacks a caudal vertebrae. The muscle system corresponds with the anomalous area, showing alterations in the serratus magnus, latim- latissimus dorsi, masseter muscle, and zygomaticus. I don't know what any of that means. 3 is a female beagle, a lower classification of Canis lupus familiaris. Its injuries include mutilation of one eye and lacerations across the back, rendering the former non functional. 3 contains one anomaly regarding its lack of lungs and liver. The absence of both organs do not affect its living ability. Both 2 and three's injuries do not appear to recover, causing continuous pain. 3 displays polarized behavior as it will act hostile towards its environment for several minutes before suddenly becoming timid. 2 also displays this trait and will act with either apathy or hostility. 2 and 3 both display sapience, but only 2 has willingly communicate with personnel upon initial containment. This is accomplished by scratching words onto a material with its claws due to damage to its vocal cord. And here's an interview with the cat after they realized the cat was smart. Why did you attack that D-class? It's quite simple, really. He's the real danger. Well, was, that is to say. So you're saying that it was him that hurt you in 3? Yes, it was him. He hurt us and he killed Josephine. He hurt me and Willow. Who is Josephine? Kept us. We were her family, the only ones there for her. She ignored our terms to serve. She simply wanted company. I understand why Ananias would give her the oath. She was the only, said Master, but 2 crosses out the word. One we had. I feel sick spewing all these compliments. I miss her, that's all. Alright. Do you know where this Josephine is? I haven't a clue. When he intruded, we were occupied and didn't see where the man placed her. I would assume he put her upstairs. Thank you for your cooperation. We'll take care of the body if we find it. 7-second pause while 2 paws at its intestines. Please do. She's needed this years ago. 2 has refused to elaborate further on said statements, and no interview is possible at the time. It is assumed 3 is also sapient and capable of communication, but is currently non responsive to all personnel. Addendum C. Was that Addendum B? Interview log B. So we haven't had Incident B yet. Addendum C. The second floor of SCP-1530 contained various pieces of furniture standard for a rural home. A corpse of an unidentifiable female was also found in the bedroom closet, holding a journal containing various dates and entries. A black envelope was found within the journal containing a letter bearing paw prints from both 2 and 3. All individuals that attempt to read the textual portion of the letter claim that it is impossible to do so, though they are unable to explain why. It is like it was happening in the 70s. It's a cold day. I keep thinking that there's something walking from the woods to share a meal by the fire. Cold is scratching at the windows and I'm alone. But after all that I've faced, I don't care. I've made a home, and it will stay my home for as long as I can keep it. This envelope with paw prints and notes inside, the one artifact from Ananias? I guess I've already been there and back, haven't I? Now, I finally decided to use it. It'll take a while, but it shouldn't be any trouble to conjure the 2 entities attached to the prints. Maybe I'll get lucky and they'll be able to speak. It'll be nice to learn how to converse again. Their names are Salix and Willow, one wily and sharp, the other one silent, a follower. Salix looks upon me as an old ex-wife which I can laugh at in the gutter? Coming off as old is the last thing I want. I'll be sure to work on that. Willow is quiet. It reminds me of when things were simpler. Damn nostalgia dying behind me wherever I go. They don't want to do anything. They acknowledge me when I give them meals, but they spend their time alone. I'll let them take their time. They'll get bored eventually. I sincerely hope this doesn't end with either one of them becoming like Ashton, all by himself alone in that cave, too stubborn to admit his losses. All he does now is plays games. On another note, I don't see why re-performing the ritual monthly is necessary to retain their servitude. I'm sure it's for their benefit. I've just discovered that they are both bound by literally hundreds of rules. I've gone and switched them around: physical contact, escape routes, and no error created from death. I don't know if I've enforced this upon them on accident. Hopefully, this will make things easier. Sky was bright. Rolled outside, the trees crinkled their greeting. It was nice to see Willow enjoying the sun while Salix moped along beside me. Seeing how nice it is outside, I don't understand why I can't just become a part of it. The hunters are taking an awfully long time to find me. I wonder if they think I've died. The time they're right, they're waiting for me outside. A hike. A hike is what we've planned. It's a cold day. They're both asleep by the fire. It's radiating glow. The cold is pawing at the windows, but I'm not without a family. The following note was found on the last page at the end of the notebook. A man dressed in orange and numbers from the woods. He intruded upon me. He was scared, lost and alone. He was me before. That's why I let him get me, see? I've given up running. That's why I couldn't kill him, yes? Maybe he didn't lose hope yet, but now... I'm sorry. I'm sorry we never got to leave together, even if it was to be only us three. All those I knew had already disappeared, and I'm sorry for leaving the two of you for them. One day you'll be free. I love you both. The reverse side of the entry. And to the hunters, if they find this, do what you want. Don't hurt Silas and Willow. Your agent has already hurt them. I'm sure they'll repay him at least. You've chased and killed people like me for so long. Even when a shred of normality began to show for me, you still tracked me down. What do you want from me? From the hundreds like me? None of us want to use our power for ourselves. Greed is not inherent. Fuck you and your containment. You steal freedom, you deceive and lie, you destroy. I never even got to say goodbye. And it says animal, biological, building, canine, Euclid, feline, green king, humanoid, pitch haven, sapient, and SCP. So green king is something, and pitch haven is something. What's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's 12 things for green king. SCP-1530 is one of them. SCP-2530 is one of them. And it looks like the rest of them are tails. And then there's a lot more for the Pitch Haven. 1530, 1619, 1903, 1913, all the way up to the 7000s. And tails. So I guess this SCP led to a place where there's other people who are running from the Foundation. I don't know how the animals factored into it. Post Incident B. Addendum B. Prize description. The Incident B isn't even in here. All that entry there didn't even say what Incident B did to the house. Well, next up is Perfect Lie Detector. Oh, okay, so maybe it's a reality bender's friends is what the bender is. So the issue was it was just a reality bender hiding from the Foundation, and they found her by accident. And they didn't even find her, one of their disposable people did, who I guess was one of their crazier ones. But the Perfect Lie Detector is safe, so I guess it really is just a lie detector. SCP-1531 is stored in Containment Vault 14 at Site 92. Disclosing the exact nature or effect of it to those lacking compartmentalized clearance to 1531, further referred to as CC2 1531, is strictly forbidden. At the moment, accepted testing subjects include any volunteers having CC2 1531, as well as disposable dudes currently involved in testing who are, for the duration, exempt from monthly termination. Requests involving introducing additional test subjects are to be made according to Protocol A. Description: 1531 is a standard issue polygraph of indeterminate make. Its metal casing possesses an etching in French that translates to "Themis is blind, who leads her to the light," but visually the device is otherwise unremarkable. When a subject, a human being aged 12 or older, has its sensors affixed to their skin and is asked a question they are able to understand, the following happens. Subject answers the question, usually orally, but when that method is restricted, writing, gesticulating, or blinking in Morse code have been used. Subjects do not recall sensing compulsion or any outside influence to do so. 1531 prints output consistent visually with standard polygraphs, but indicating the falsity of the answer. SCP-1531 does not seem to rely on the subject's blood pressure, respiration, or skin conductivity, and instead determines whether the answer is factually true or false, by as of yet unknown means. To date, no way to deceive the object has been found, including sedatives, standard issue amnestics, with and without false memory implants, or mimetic scramble. Note from head researcher Steiner. People don't even understand the sheer importance of what we're dealing with. No other interrogation method is even remotely as efficient. Far too often, Foundation resorts to methods and substances that are more than questionable and less than reliable, and we are all aware that our enemies can do far worse. Imagine the potential security breach if it falls into the hands of someone who has an agent under Omega level amnestic and knows how to ask all the right questions. Even the knowledge of the possibility for existence of such an object is to be kept secret from anyone we do not completely trust. For that purpose, I insist upon updated security measures. Request granted. Protocol 1531A updated. Additional screening for CC2 1531 is to be enacted directly under control of Site Director Blank or any personnel of equal or higher clearance. And that's from one of the O5s. So we got some test logs and then also whatever 1531 Themis is. So interviewed disposable 16891 by Steiner. They were told to lie without warning to the researcher. The researcher is completely unfamiliar with their personnel file. 16891, what's your name? Blank blank. True. Your age? Turned 33 recently. True. What is your birthplace? Blank, sir. False. The blank village is legally considered part of the blank city since 2003. Both parties were unaware of that. This is marked as the first indication that 1531 does not rely on the knowledge of the test subject alone. Okay, new person. They were instructed to only tell the truth. What is the reason for your initial incarceration, D51232? 105 Part 2. True. According to the Criminal Code of Russia, 105 Part 2 is aggravated murder, which the subject was found guilty of. Details about the murder, please. Which murder weapon was used? I don't fucking know. False. What do you mean by that? I didn't kill nobody. That pig framed me. This is consistent with the subject's statements in court. Even after being found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, the subject pled not guilty. False. 51232. I recall we told you not to lie. Silence. 51232. Continue. Silence. The subject continued to keep silence until a direct question was asked. First indication that it's impossible to state anything that is not an answer to a question while under the influence of 1531. Why are you silent? I can't say. True. Test 23. Interview 24513 by researcher Quincy. 25513 possesses poor knowledge of mathematics and below average arithmetic skills. How much is 2 plus 2? 4. True. 7 plus 7. 11? False. Sure about that? It was a joke, Doc. True. Now, what's the remainder of 23,512 divided by 7? I don't know what the fuck that means. True. Guess a digit. 6? True. Correct. Let us try multiplication. 6 by 7? 52. True. 6 times 7 is indeed 52 in base 8. What? A 6 by 7 is usually not that, but alright. But whatever base 8 is. Okay, now researcher Earhart is interviewing 16891. Forward, 13th test on effects of speech impairments. Full body restraint, mouth gag, muscle relaxant injected into eyelids to prevent blinking. What is the capital of Great Britain? Struggles against restraint to no avail for 10 minutes. Sensors removed, no change in effect, mouth gag removed. London! Doc, that's torture! Sensors reattached. What do you mean by torture? My brain screams at me to answer somehow. It's loud as shit when it goes past the ears. False. I think we already determined you don't feel any compulsion. Who are you trying to deceive? I keep telling you every fucking time that thing forces me to answer. False. Interviewed Agent F. Head researcher Steiner. Screening test. Yeah, you know the drill by now, don't you? Silence. Sorry, I forgot to play Jeopardy with this thing. What's your real name? James F. False. Yeah, no. Want to try again? James Maurice F. You dumb box. True. Or like it. Are you a sleeper agent for organization hostile to the Foundation? Nah. False. Which ones? Which one specifically? Dude, I'm not working for anyone but the Foundation. False. Serpent's Hand? No. True. GOC then? Yeah, of course, I just destroy skips left and right. True. Data expunged. Is this the same agent but being interviewed by somebody else? Why? Which of the containment breaches that resulted in loss of one or more objects is your responsibility, directly or indirectly? None, because I am not a goddamn sleeper agent. That fucking box is lying. False. That's the same thing it says about you. What do you have to say for yourself? Nothing. Fuck. It's hard to talk against this quick ask me what the color of the sky is. False. What color is the sky? Blue. False. F owns a surrealist painting where the sky is in fact depicted as red. Addendum Protocol A. Additional researchers are only to be introduced to CC2-1531 by direct order of the O5. In the event that at least 3 personnel with CC2 have reached consensus on necessity of introducing more test subjects or use for questioning, the following document needs to be first introduced to personnel possessing security clearance of 3 or higher, but not CC2-1531, without making any comments on the nature of the object or type of request or viewing content of the letter. Greetings! I guess I should read the way that he's reading, that I gave him, I guess. Greetings. This is head researcher Steiner, currently in charge of the Themis Rehabilitation Project and the associated ongoing 1531 research project. You are to assume that the person that handed you this letter is infected with a memetic hazard class Styx 2. Under no circumstances make any inquiries regarding 1531 and minimize all contact with the infected person in order to prevent accidental exposure. Wait no less than 2 hours before informing your contact that the request has been denied. Report to the site director for further instructions. The unaltered description of the object is as follows. SCP-1531 is a standard issue polygraph of indeterminate make. Its metal casing possesses an etching in French that translates to Themis is blind, who leads her to the light, but visually the device is otherwise unremarkable. When a subject, a human being, age 12 or older, has its sensors affixed to their skin and is asked a question, they're able to understand the following happens. Subject is strongly compelled to answer the question, usually orally, but when that method is restricted, writing, gesticulating, or blinking in Morse code have been used. The compulsion is impossible to ignore by any given means, and if the subject is unable to understand, they have been asked a question, they will answer it no matter the method. The subject will also be unable to communicate in any way if not asked a direct question. 2. SCP-1531 prints output that states whether the answer is true or false. The output is completely random but internally consistent. Any exposure to the output will make the person viewing it believe that the answers given to the question are true or false in accordance to the output. This is also true for any recordings or interpretation on the output or statements made by any other affected individuals. Subject being questioned is immune to the effects of their own output. Note that SCP-1531 is a polygraph that is impossible to deceive, and all other properties 1531 is believed to possess are found true by affected individuals, and as such, any statement regarding the object is a vector of infection. The infectious information about SCP-1531 has spread before its true nature was determined, and current security protocols have been put in place. All individuals verified to be infected are to be transferred to research of SCP-1531, and are led to believe they have a special security clearance CC-1531. Treating exposure is possible, based on the fact that the victim does not perceive objective reality differently, but rather assumes that the person being questioned is dishonest or relies on specific phrasing of the question. Specialized therapy involving focus on observed cognitive dissonance between the result of the output and objective reality and administering of B-class amnestics has been found to reliably diminish the effect, and in 60% of observed cases, results in complete immunity to further exposure to the output. Personnel that have been rendered immune are able to analyze the output and other personnel's perceptions of it objectively. Research on what questions will reliably cause cognitive dissonance in all affected individuals is ongoing. So, what that says to me is that up until this document, the entire rest of the article is fake, because what it's actually doing is causing a cognito hazard to make anybody who sees the answers believe the answers are accurate, whether or not it makes any sense. But the person who's being asked the questions knows that that's not true, including the fact that them saying that it makes them give an answer, and the people go, well, that doesn't make any sense. And the machine goes, yeah, they're lying, and they just believe it. So this is one of those entries where I guess it is actually safe as long as you don't interact with it. But if you do interact with it, it's going to get you with a mimetic virus to make you think everything it's telling you is true, no matter whether or not the person tied up to it is lying. So as I was saying, note that it's a polygraph that is impossible to deceive, and all other properties it is believed to possess are found true by affected individuals, and as such, any statement regarding the object is a vector of infection. So yeah, the entire article, I guess, is written by somebody who has gotten the cognito hazard from the machine, and that's all the machine does, is infect you to think it's always right, even though it's not. Interesting. But next up is Dr. Gale's Human Emporium, which, if it's just a building, is probably Euclid at best. A As the exact location of SCP-1532 is unknown, current containment procedures are focused on preventing public awareness of its capabilities. Mobile Task Force Gamma 5, aka They're on Our Side, Sir, has created a media campaign informing the public that 1532 is an illegal company guilty of mail fraud, and all copies of B should be turned over. That's either a B or a beta. Should be turned over to the proper authorities as soon as possible. Any instances of B or beta are to be found and destroyed, and Class C amnestics are to be given to any witnesses. Any suspected instances of A, okay, so I guess it is just B, are to be found outside of uh, any suspected instances A found outside custody are to be captured and tested to confirm or deny if they are A. Confirmed instances are to be kept for study or termination as necessary. Instances of A may be tested in conjunction with other SCP objects by personnel with level 5 clearance. Description. Oh, that's a lot of addendums. Um, SB-1531 is an unknown facility that artificially creates and sells human beings. It will advertise itself by spontaneously generating catalogs, collectively referred to as B, in the mailboxes of residential addresses across the US and Canada. Testing of these catalogs show that they are not anomalous and are printed on normal rotogravure paper with ordinary printing ink. B instructs the reader to create a human being by selecting a large number of available traits and writing them in order into the order form in the back of the catalog, and then mailing it in using the included prepaid envelope. Individual traits found in B have specific prices, with the average purchase costing redacted per human purchased. Purchases can be paid for either by including cash with the order form or by writing in a credit card number on the form, in which case the appropriate amount of money will be removed from the bank account and transferred to an unknown destination. Tests have shown that 1532 only accepts United States or Canadian dollars for cash payments and will accept all major credit cards. When a B order form is properly filled out and placed in the mailbox, it spontaneously disappears within 6 hours of placement. 3 to 5 weeks later, a human being identical to the order placed, collectively referred to as A, is delivered to the address of the sender by a blue van with the words Dr. Gale's Human Emporium copyright painted on the side. The van spontaneously disappears 8 kilometers away from its destination. It appears, not disappears, drops off an instance of A, and then disappears after traveling another 8 kilometers. All attempts to follow or track the van have failed. Instances of A appear physically indistinguishable to normal humans, however, they all share certain properties that make them possible to identify and locate. All instances of A have an identical fingerprint pattern, which have been given to police forces across the continental US under the pretense of a missing person. All instances of A are completely sterile and unable to sexually reproduce. DNA tests of instances of A shows that they all contain identical specific non-coding sequence on chromosome 19 that is not found anywhere else in nature. Okay. Go addendum 1. Excerpts from B. Skeletal system. Every new human needs to start somewhere, and here at Dr. Gale's Human Emporium, we start with the skeleton. Bones are like the support beams in a house. You may not be able to see them, but they are crucial to the development. We at Dr. Gale's Emporium, Human Emporium, have a large selection of skeletal structures to choose from, for any kind of human. All skeletal structures are available with your choice of male or female hip bones. Child at heart. They say good things come in small packages, and that's especially true for the child at heart model skeleton. These cute little bones may look frail, but don't worry. This system is built with the same durability that customers expect from all Dr. Gale skeletal structures. Perfect for customers who want their human to stay fun-sized forever. Classy Lady. The Classy Lady skeleton was originally designed exclusively for human females, but it has been adapted by popular demand to be available for males as well. This fashionable mid-sized skeleton is perfect for that carefree young adult human. John Croft is our most popular skeleton, and for good reason. This all-purpose bone system can be applied to virtually any style of human, from the young vibrant female to the elderly wise male. This model is great for those looking for a goes with anything style skeleton. Paul Paul. This specialist skeleton is for the customer who wants a big human. Your human will tower above the others with this high quality bone structure, impress your friends, and intimidate your enemies with the tall Paul today. Muscles and fat. After the skeletal system, you need to give your human muscles to move. All humans purchased from Dr. Gale's Human Emporium come with a specially tailored metabolism to match their muscle and fat type to ensure that they naturally keep the figure you ordered. The youthful spirits. This elegant system captures the very essence of human youth. The smooth, supple muscles and sculpted fatty tissues invoke the carefree spirit of a human with their whole life ahead of them. Lots to love. With generous amounts of fatty tissues across the entire body, this system is for those who like their humans with curves. The system also includes an enhanced muscular build so that all that wobbly goodness won't slow your purchase down. Casual athlete. Keep your human trim and healthy with the casual athlete muscular system. This system blends physical prowess with casual style into one of our most popular items. Your human will look great with the casual athlete muscles regardless of age or gender. Herculean Herculean physique. If you want a strong human, then you want the Herculean physique, our most powerful muscular system available. Humans with the Herculean physique can lift up to 400 pounds slash 181 kilograms guaranteed. And with virtually no fat on the entire body, you'll get an unobscured view of those muscles beneath the skin. Smooth and slender. For those who believe that less is more, the smooth and slender is the ideal choice. These muscles are so thin you can barely see them, and this model is 99% fat free. Skin. The skin is the most visible part of the body, and at Dr. Gale's Human Emporium, we use only the finest materials to create a flawless epidermis for your human. Snow White, mirror mirror on the wall, who's the palest of them all? The Snow White is a wonderful creamy white tone for your human, perfect for those looking for a truly unique purchase. Anglo-Saxon, this Caucasian skin is great for those who love the European style. The Anglo-Saxon draws both its name and coloration from the native people of the UK and works with almost any hair or eye style. Asian Persuasion, the exotic styles of the Far East can be yours with the Asian Persuasion skin tone. From Tokyo to Hanoi, this distinct epidermis is a must-have for any fans of the Orient. South of the border, add some Latin spice to your human with the richly tanned colors of Central America. Nothing says muy elegante like the south of the border. Simply delightful. Delightful. Your human will curry your favor with the simply delightful skin tone. This golden brown skin will give your human that beautiful Hindi look guaranteed. Back in black, they say that black goes with anything, and we agree. This dark, rich color is perfect for capturing the urban feel of the modern human. Warning, once you go black, you never go back. Personality matrices. Once you've got the basic stuff out of the way, you can add the most defining part of your human, their mind. Dr. Gale's Human Emporium guarantees quality and full function for all mental features, and we can seamlessly blend any intelligence quotient with a personality type that can create a unique individual. Faithful Companion. This personality matrix is great for those who want a best friend forever. The faithful companion is always ready to spend time with you, whether you're playing together on the beach, reading a good book by the fire, or just getting a good night's sleep. Never be alone again with a faithful companion. Frenemy Mine. A human with the Frenemy Mine personality matrix is always ready for some healthy competition. The Frenemy Mine will constantly strive to outdo you in sports, finance, or whatever else you find most interesting. The perfect opponent is yours with the Frenemy Mine. Mommy Dearest, need someone to take care of you? Then look no further than the Mommy Dearest personality matrix. The Mommy Dearest will provide you with warm and unconditional support, whether you need it, whenever you need it, and will make itself busy around your house when you want to be alone. Main Squeeze. Satisfy your primal urges with the Main Squeeze personality. Designed to create the ultimate boyfriend or girlfriend, the Main Squeeze is our single most popular personality matrix ever. Enjoy a night on the town with your Main Squeeze. Supreme Sycophant. If you want the perfect yes man, you can't find a better personality matrix than the Supreme Sycophant. This human will agree to anything. Guaranteed. You'll never find a more compliant companion than a Supreme Sycophant. There's another addendum. Let's see what this one says. Addendum 2. The address on the prepaid envelope included with each copy of B is as following. Dr. Gale's Human Emporium, 143 Short Street, Lebster, Wyoming, 7236C. There is no record of any city, town, or settlement in the state of Wyoming named Lemster, and the zip code does not match with any current or previous U.S. postal regulations. I need to drink a little bit of water after doing that voice for that long. It was fun, though. Go interview 1. Excerpt from an interview conducted by Dr. E. With an instance of A purchased by the Foundation Front Company. The purchase included the Supreme Sycophant personality matrix. Hello. Hello, sir. Please state your name for the record. Well, I was purchased as test subject 1, but you can call me anything you want, sir. So, you are aware that you were purchased from Dr. Gill's Human Emporium? Of course I am, sir. What exactly are you? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm afraid I don't really understand the question. I'm sure it's my fault. Well, how were you created? I'm really, really sorry, sir, but I don't remember. Do you know where Dr. Gale's Human Emporium is located? Dr. Gale's Human Emporium is located at 143 Short Street, Lemster, Wyoming, P.O. Box 7236C. Can you point out the location of Lemster, Wyoming on a map? Of course, sir. Dr. E shows A map of the state of Wyoming. A expects the app for 3 minutes. Map. I'm sorry, sir, but this map is all wrong. Would you like me to go find you a better one? No, let's move on. Whatever you say, sir. What's the very first thing you can remember? I was in a van, sir. They gave me a name and an address to go to. I think it was about 2 hours ago. And that doesn't bother you at all? No, sir. Should it bother me? It would bother most people. I didn't know that, sir, but I believe you. Do you know who Dr. Gale is? Dr. Gale's the owner and proprietor of Dr. Gale's Human Emporium, sir. Is Dr. Gale human? I'm afraid I don't know, sir. I would assume so, but maybe not. Irrelevant data expunged. Show interview 2. On November 4th, 2000 something, over 2,000 copies of a new version of B appeared in mailboxes across the North American continent. This version included several new traits not found in previous editions. The new edition also included a telephone number for customer support. The customer support number is 15 digits long, significantly longer than any normal telephone number for the North American continent. Attempts to trace the phone number have failed. The following is a log of a phone conversation between Dr. C and one or more unknown entities. Dr. C was instructed to prolong the conversation for as long as possible to maximize potential information gained. Due to the context of the conversation and the distinct change between the voices from the other end of the line, it is most likely that the conversation that at least 3 separate individuals spoke to Dr. C, hereafter referred to as Entity 1, 2, and 3. Good morning. Thank you for calling Dr. Gale's Human Emporium. My name is Ted. How can I help you? Hello, Ted. May I ask where your facility is located? Dr. Gale's Human Emporium is located at 143 Short Street in Lemster, Wyoming. And where is Lemster, Wyoming located? It's on the map, sir, just west of New Dunsmouth and south of Paleson. Which both names did not correspond with any city or town founded anywhere in the United States. Do you have longitude or latitude coordinates? I'm afraid I don't have that information. Do you have a specific complaint about one of our products? Because I have other customers on the line. Yes, actually. I recently bought a human from your company, but he died after less than a week. And I have the product's name and the delivery address. He was purchased as test subject 1 for my company, redacted. Test subject 1 had been purchased by a Foundation Front company and had been terminated prior to this call. Okay, here we go. According to our records, the product was alive and healthy when it was delivered to you. Yes, I know that, but it just dropped dead yesterday. Are you sure the human had access to food and water? Yes. Did you physically harm or damage the human prior to its death? No. Do you still have the body? Yes. Well, the best I can do is allow you to send the body back to us for a discount on your next purchase. That's unacceptable. I want a replacement. I'm not authorized to issue a replacement, sir. Would you like to talk to the manager? Yes, please. Please hold. Uh, the audio on the other side becomes famous classical pieces played by a jazz band for approximately 10 minutes. Hello. Thanks for calling Dr. Gale's Human Emporium. My name is Claire. I'm told you have a complaint about a recently purchased human. Yes, he died yesterday and I'd like a replacement. Are you sure the human had access to food and water? Yes. Did you physically harm or damage the human prior to its death? No. Well, I suppose that we could offer a replacement if you could bring the human back to our factory. Where's your factory located? 143 Street, Short Street, Lemster, Wyoming. I have a map of Wyoming in front of me right now, and I don't see anywhere called Lemster. Well, I guess you need a new map. Just follow the Interstate 12 south from Paleson, and you'll run right into it. Interstate 12 doesn't run through Wyoming. Are you sure you're looking at a current map? I'm sure. Well, I'm sorry, but unless you can return the human to our factory, we can't offer a replacement. That's unacceptable. I demand to speak to your superior. All right, if you insist. I'll transfer you, but it might be a while before Dr. Gale answers the phone. Audio on the other side becomes famous classical piece played by a jazz band for approximately 1 hour, 20 minutes. What speaks to I? Linguistic analysis of Entity 3 syntax shows that it is significantly less fluent in English than 1 and 2. Voice analysis cannot determine where the accent originates from, nor can it conclusively determine the gender. Am I speaking to Dr. Gale? That is who I am named. Are you a human being? I create humans. But are you yourself a human? Put up the phone, Dr. C. You have nothing to complain about. How did you know my name? Put up the phone. You have nothing to complain. Tell me how you know my name. Does anyone like being eaten? What? Put up the phone. What was that about being eaten? Put up the phone. Go back to your foundation. You have nothing to complain. What do you know about the foundation? I have another work that needs doing. Goodbye. Wait! It is currently unknown if Entity 3 is aware of the existence of the SCP Foundation, or if it was using the word Foundation to mean something else. These things are biologically indistinguishable from humans and aren't that expensive. If we could purchase them in bulk, we could eliminate the need for disposable dues altogether. Negative. Till we find the location of SCP-1532 and discover how these things are being made, we must consider them as potentially hostile entities and deal with them appropriately. Why are we spending so much Foundation resources to attempt to locate 1532 when we don't even know that it exists in any way we can comprehend? Everything we know about it comes from instances of A and B. What if it only exists in whatever realm of reality the delivery vans come from and go to? The potential gains for the Foundation warrant further investigation. Furthermore, the entity identified as Dr. Gale knew Dr. C's name and appeared to know about the existence of the SCP Foundation, representing a serious security breach we must pursue. Alrighty then. Next up is the Collective. It's also Euclid, and I gotta drink a little bit more water. How long is this so far? 40 something minutes. Special containment procedures. The individuals that collectively comprise 1533 are to be confined to a 10 by 10 by 10 meter cell site somewhere. An armed guard is to be posted outside of the containment chamber all times. Should 1533 attempt to escape, firearms are capable of subduing the entities only temporarily. Requests of a material nature, whether it be books, film, music, or other media, are to be strictly denied. Any personnel discovered smuggling paraphernalia into the cell will be removed from the holding facility and relocated per administrative orders. Under no circumstances are personnel allowed to fraternize with each other or the collective itself. All agents are to assume a neutral expression and only to be allowed to only make short declarative statements in the presence of the holding cell. Any individualizing actions, social flourishes, or other interactions that go beyond the communication of simple directives will be added to 1533's behavior pool and be utilized to facilitate an escape. During the normally scheduled 1533 event day, 12 disposable dudes exhibiting symptoms of autism spectrum disorders are to socialize with the collective in order to stunt the social growth. The desocializing of 1533 must occur under the supervision of armed guards. Armed personnel are tasked with closely observing for any signs of the collective attempting to socialize a disposable dude for its own benefit or any other anomalies. Operatives are prohibited from interacting with 1533 in any way beyond making eye contact. Alright. Description: SCP-1533 is the designation for an aggregate intelligence of unknown nature with command over blank, superficially human entities and their personalities. So it looks like it's at least 20. Instances of 1533 only manifest as social gatherings of variable nature organized and attended by its comprising individuals. The events occur at monthly intervals within a 50-mile radius of the previous event's location and are generally gatherings such as house parties or holiday mixers. However, it has not been known to organize events that rely on the attendees knowing each other prior to the gathering, such as family reunions or birthday parties. The individuals that comprise 1533 possess the ability to mimic the behaviors of human subjects they have interacted with in the past. Observed behaviors enter a collective database at the disposal of 1533, which are then distributed across the entities differently for each event. Each entity receives a personality schema consisting of a host of behaviors, skills, and personal attributes in order to perform a specific social role. These individuals need only to be in direct line of sight for an action to absorb it, remaining sensitive to social cues even when apparently intoxicated. Specific examples of modifiable attributes include personal idiosyncrasies, inflection and cadence of voice, physical expertise in a sport or activity, oratory skill, the demeanor of an individual, and even sense of humor. The ease by which 1533 is able to model persuasive personalities is a sign of its growing social competency. The process is analogous to natural selection, in that there is a preference for favorable behaviors that will better endear it to future victims, and those that discomfort or otherwise turn off attendees are discarded. As a consequence, the individuals have progressed from exhibiting symptoms of low grade autism spectrum disorder to becoming a highly alluring and dangerous group of individuals. Outside of expanding its data pool, it exists only to exercise its power of manipulation over human beings. This can range from challenging a target's self identity by persuading them to agree with obscene or unattainable point of view to more direct methods that inflict emotional and physical harm on subjects. The collective has shown a preference for employing charismatic personalities to captivate human targets into threatening the integrity of close friendships and intimate relationships. See personality list. The collective competes against itself for the emotional dominance of their guests, and those personalities with the most success have begun to exhibit some semblance of autonomy by brandishing tattoos and other symbols of status to denote their rank. The beings exert such a profound effect on human beings that the Foundation operatives routinely recover letters and personal belongings addressed to 1533 sent by past guests to previous event sites. The entities have also attempted to bribe personnel by promising to secure them the love and adoration of specific persons in their lives, such as peers or romantic interests. 1533's personalities have developed an aptitude for reading body language and facial expressions that currently exceeds Foundation understanding. Removing those personnel prone to the collective's manipulations have also proved troublesome, as it has only served to bolster 1533's confidence in its own abilities. At some point, operatives are to be assigned to wear masks so as to limit the social data 1533 assimilates with every encounter. Personality list. Following is a list of the most prominent personality is utilized by 1533 to dominate human beings. It is rare that more than one personality will select the same target. It is not telepathic or clairvoyant, it relies on anticipating caricatures of behavior prior to an event. So, the success rate of the entities defined by the prey's receptiveness to the entity's manipulations now hovers at double digit percent, although this rate has steadily grown since recording began, as it functions by essentially consolidating the more deplorable aspects of the human social sphere into discrete personalities. Foundation agents are strongly encouraged to upset any schemes the collective might use to visit distress upon innocent subjects. Description of entity behaviors and physical appearances provided by embedded agents in order to act as inconspicuously as the function allowed. Many of them, there's a lot of these. So I'm going to skip over reading these because my throat is starting to burn a little bit, and just check the addendum. Addendum 1. SCP-1533 now forgoes all pretense of friendliness when consorting with human beings. As disposable dudes are informed of entities' deceitful capacity, recent attempts to foment unrest in the containment site through disposable dudes have been met with failure. As of some point, 12 subjects have been assaulted by the entities for attempting to exit the containment chamber early. The knowledge of its game being found out and challenge of ingratiating itself yet again to subjects it has harmed has taught 1533 how to feign remorse and compassion with a formidable persuasion. At some point, all offers have been rebuffed and communication has been disallowed between personnel and the collective. It has since attempted the smuggling of various media to its containment cell through Foundation operatives. It is believed the phenomenon can absorb behavior through other forms of exposure, since it has frequently requested the perusal of literature and viewing of films as a suggested recreational activity to pass time. Recent containment breaches have involved the transcribing of a manifesto by the directing intelligence through its monthly allotted disposable dude. Personnel are to refuse the supplication of pen and paper to the containment cell. Foundation researchers have also suggested the constant playback of selected scenes from the 1976 film Taxi Driver, depicting the life of a socially stunted cab driver struggling to relate with fellow human beings as a mean by which to delay the intelligence behavioral growth. Confirmation pending per O5 review. So that brings us to the last one of this episode, One Best Way. What the heck? Well, it's Keter, but why does the website suddenly look like this now? Assigned Site 23, Site Director Dr. Hideo Salmers, Research Head Dr. John Billings, Assigned MTF Secret Shoppers. SCP-1534 is currently only partially contained. Jerbic.aic has been tasked with expunging all references to Incident 1534 Inc. 1 that may have or may appear on social media. Well, that's just straight up a Walmart. But all extant media reports have been discredited as a fringe conspiracy theory where they have not been debunked as outright falsehoods. Additionally, arrest warrants for person of interest 1534-1 Jeremy Wilcox have been filed with Interpol, the RCMP, the USMS, and the International Criminal Court. Any information on his current whereabouts is to be reported to MTF MOVE 5 Secret Shoppers. All survivors and known witnesses of Incident 1 have been amnesticized and released under cover story Omicron 23 Delta active shooter event. So that's what? The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the United States Marshals Service, and the Criminal Court. This is going to get rough, isn't it? The SCP-1534 refers to an organization that operated primarily out of local Supercenter 2351, a branch store belonging to its Walmart. You can see it, it's Walmart, in Catskill, New York. This cult, dubbed SFSism by its practitioners, was disguised as a department within this store and reported directly to store manager Jeremy Wilcox, now designated Person of Interest 1. The initial aim of them was to utilize thaumaturgic practices in order to boost economic growth to the region, but this goal was eventually co-opted by Jeremy in order to ensure his sole economic benefit. Membership was limited to select current and former employees of the Walmart and its sister store, a different Walmart, in Hudson, New York. At the time of Incident 1, there were rumors that Jeremy planned to extend his influence to another one in Lake Katrine, New York, but these rumors remain unsubstantiated. Like, I know that they're saying supercenter and then the numbers because, like, oh well, we don't want to implicate anything, but like, I've seen y'all post the picture just be blacked out and say the picture was redacted. There was no need to have a badly censored real Walmart if you weren't going to use the word Walmart. You could have just had a building with no words on it that was like, whatever. The cult itself was disguised as an independent department within both stores, both of which engaged in various thaumaturgic rituals designed to increase sales and profitability within stores 2351 and 2402. The extent to which these rituals influenced the marked increase in sales within the two stores is unclear, but it is obvious that the effect was tremendous. Attached addenda. SCP-1534 was discovered on October 8th, 2017, after the reopening of the e-commerce departments in Supercenter 2351 and 2402. Within the week, profits at both locations increased by over 200%, while the combined total shrink decreased to 15 US dollars. Shrink in this case is defined as the amount of profit or product loss to theft, damage, and miscounting. Normally, the uptick of financial affairs in 2351 and 2402 would not warrant Foundation investigation. However, the sudden and drastic increase in profit coincided with a spike in missing persons within the local regions. Garabik AIC deemed this sufficient cause to assign a field agent to investigate, and Agent Steve Cave Murphy was dispatched to Supercenter 2351 under the guise of a new employee transfer. Per undercover protocol agent Alpha 6, Agent Murphy remained in contact with the Foundation through coded messages posted through his social media accounts. On December 23rd, 2017, Garabik AIC notified Field Agent Command that Agent Murphy had failed to meet the designated check-in and additional assets were deployed to his residence. Additional research, social media posts. Okay, the following are a record of the messages posted to various social media sites by Agent Murphy during his investigation into Supercenter 2351. Each post was accompanied by a image which contained a message encrypted in the image EXIF data, which has been deciphered and reproduced here by Garabik AIC. What is this an actual thing or what is this? Okay, it just goes straight to the okay. So it's fake. My wife shops here. It's been weird. Successfully managed to ingratiate themselves. Shorthand for ship from storism, the official name for the cultist religion. By agreeing to begin following the tenets and teachings of their deity, Charles. Potentially Charles Lord, the president and CEO of US e-commerce, promoted to the position in 2016 and is credited with expanding and building the department into what it is today. However, it's unclear if he is or not if he's in any way involved with the cults. Even signed a fancy contract to put my name in a place they call the graveyard alongside everyone else who works or has worked there. They appear to hold a great deal of reverence for Charles and pray to him pretty consistently throughout the day. There are photos of him everywhere. The cleaner and the packer aren't particularly fond of Wilcox, but as the packer explains it, there isn't much they can do. He says jump and they jump. He says land, they land. It's mostly normal, honestly. Packer is their department heads by function rather than name. Employee records have been edited to reflect this, and their true names cannot be ascertained. It's almost normal, honestly. The packer showed me one of their rituals the other day while packing. First to the process of scanning items in an order, placing them in the supercenter branded box, sealing it, then placing it on a pallet, and then put it on the truck. That's what it is, yeah. I don't know why that needed a annotation. The device he was using, a scanner, froze up and stopped working. He put the scanner on the packing station and started peeling the skin off his finger like a goddamn banana. I almost threw up then and there, but I managed to keep it down. The man drew some sigils on the scanner and said something. Couldn't hear what I asked him about it, but all he said was Charles provides. Then all the blood splatter crawled across the packing station, opened across the floor, up his leg, and back into his hand. The guy just went back to work like nothing happened. It was like that for the rest of the day. Scanners freezing, fingers peeling, and then just unpeeling. Prayers to Charles. No one outside the department thought anything of it, even the civilians that were newer to the job than I was. I guess they're all just accustomed to the circumstances. After all the pallets were on the truck, the ones that hadn't gone home early gathered around the middle of the three packing stations and dropped to their knees. The cleaner showed me how to hold my hands together. I'll have to send you a photograph. Maybe there's some other meaning you can decipher from it. The prayer went something like this: Praise the corporation, blessed be the one true packer, the firstborn picker, the starfish, and the lords that watch over us from the assistant manager's office. May Charles keep our pickers fast, our packers stalwart, and the heretics out of our department. Charles provides. We said the prayer a few times before clocking out. I haven't seen much of Wilcox today apart from the morning. I'll keep investigating. Tell Gail hi for me. You know how she gets, and I appreciate not coming home to an angry wife, wouldn't you? There were no additional reports posted for several days while Agent Murphy continued to post innocuous and unrelated messages as a part of his cover. According to these innocuous and unofficial reports, Murphy was acclimating well to his new job and had made several friends. The following was posted on the 24th. There's a few more of these. According to these innocuous and unofficial reports, blah blah blah. Putting on a show. The heck? Wilcox came to the area in the back room today along with some other members of upper management. Apparently, he was giving a tour and said our department was the crowning jewel of the store. Cleaner and Packer talked to him for a while after the other managers left, but I couldn't hear what they said. All I know is that our orders damn near tripled for today, and I had to haul ass to keep up. We're at the Charles on our lunch break again. The Packer told me that he was going to show me the flawless technique, that it relied purely on faith being one with Charles. He put on this lampshade and just told me to watch. It was like watching 100 people move together in almost perfect sync. The speed, the precision. I've seen temporal anomalies before, but this was strange even by those standards. His arms were blurs. He could have packed a couple hundred blocks in a few seconds by my estimate. Guess that explains how they're able to finish the job by 3 p.m. every day. Packer told me that every SFSist knows this flawless technique because he taught it to them. Guess I know it too now. I'll have to try for myself tomorrow. I'll find out if I act the part. Charles' blessing. The following message was posted in connection with seeing the sights. In the unofficial report, Agent Murphy had been exceeding job performance expectations and had earned the trust of his superiors. Post with the hidden message. Peak is coming. We have 8 weeks to prepare. Wilcox has demanded that we assist the store with preparations, and he has closed the department temporarily. The SSFists have taken to praying in the freezer during their breaks. Another new person got hired today, and the Packer asked me to show her the ropes. I don't know the way well enough to be of any assistance. I worry about what's coming next. I'm told to keep Charles in my heart, but my head, I grow weary with worry. The way is what they call their religion when talking amongst themselves. Several days later, another post was captioned with flawless. In the post's unrelated text, Murphy claimed that he was beginning to enjoy his time working undercover. When reminded of his mission, Agent Murphy was dismissive and avoided answering questions directly pertaining to the nature of the cult. The flawless technique has multiple applications. Charles would be proud of my ingenuity, as would the Packer, wherever he is. The cleaner is preoccupied with peak preparations. She's spending a lot of time in the e-commerce department alone. I catch her praying to Charles sometimes. I swear I've seen someone or something with her, but she assures me it's nothing. That thing, it was like a breathing info hazard. It hurt just to glance at it. It hurts more to think about it. Must have 100 tentacles that ended in spikes and wet sucking suction cups that clung to the floors and walls around the cleaner. Wilcox is pleased. Charles provides. The following post was received and captioned exploring the sites. Agent Murphy could not be reached for further comments at the time the post was deciphered. Peak came upon us. Peak has crested like a wave. None of us are now as we were. Wilcox is pleased. Charles provides. And it says over and over again, none of us are now as we were. Did y'all turn into starfish? Investigative findings. Several anomalous items, as well as an overwhelming amount of Supercenter related paraphernalia, were discovered in Agent Murphy's residence on December 23rd. Some of the items included a Supercenter brand vest. It was strung up on a wall above several lit candles and had a photograph of an unidentified individual. The vest exhibits a mild cognito-hazardous effect which prevents the observer from creating negative thoughts about Supercenter 2351, 2402, or any of their respective employees. The effect expires after 9 hours. A check made out to Agent Murphy for $1,224.52. When held, the subject experienced extreme fatigue, lethargy, and malaise. All subjects have expressed a disdain to return to 2351, regardless of prior experiences or lack thereof in that location. Two severed heads, both capable of limited speech. One head repeats the phrase, "it had to be done," while the other says, "clean pack," at regular intervals. A writhing mash of fleshy tentacles that scuttle without any apparent pattern. These tentacles become hostile to anyone who attempts to disturb the previously mentioned fest. Incident 1. The following recording was pieced together from various surviving surveillance cameras in 2351. All of the employees exit the back room and move towards the center of 2351. They are holding box cutters, scanners, and handheld printers. While they march, they appear to be chanting. Agent Murphy is approached by Wilcox and the two retreat to the back room. The other employees don lampshades and clasp their hands together. Several customers gather around the employees and take photographs of them. An organism resembling an arachnid with tentacle-like appendages emerges from the back room. The entity exudes a mild cognitohazardous effect that prevents surveillance cameras from depicting it in full. The entity undulates towards the closest customer and consumes them. It expels the customer, who begins behaving erratically and showcasing hitherto unexpressed anomalous properties. The customer resumes shopping, but at a drastically increased pace, displaying the capability to process through an entire aisle within seconds. Once they have filled their cart, they proceed to the self-checkout registers. After finalizing their sale, the customer falls limp to the floor and is dragged off by a sales associate. The entity continues its rampage throughout 2351, consuming individuals that are unable to avoid its path. The employees herd other customers toward the entity. Several customers attempt to flee through the alternative exits. All doors save for the main entrance fail to function as intended. At 10:30, Wilcox, Agent Murphy, and two other unknown individuals emerge from the back room and proceed towards the front end registers. They are presumed to be the cleaner and the packer mentioned in the posts. The two unknown individuals kneel in a manner that would suggest prayer. Wilcox speaks to the individuals, then nods at Murphy. Murphy exsanguinates the two individuals via a cut to the throat. The two individuals are then orally produce several tentacle-like appendages that hang from their mouths. Using the appendages, they are able to attack nearby customers in a manner similar to the arachnid-like entity. The tentacles detach from the two unknown individuals and scuttle along the floor before disappearing beneath the registers. Wilcox returns with a box cutter and furiously cuts the throats of the two individuals. After several seconds, he's able to tear both heads off with the assistance of Agent Murphy. Murphy carries both heads in his hands as he follows Wilcox to the exit. Foundation agents equipped with incendiary weaponry were dispatched to 2351. The three tentacle entities and several anomalous customers engaged in hostilities with the operatives. Surveillance cameras began shaking at this time. A large entity emerges from the floor beneath e-commerce employees, but the camera footage becomes distorted, preventing observation of the entity. Several high-pitched screeches become audible before the surveillance cameras cut out. The following recording was discovered on a customer's cell phone at the entrance of 2351. It had to be done. That's right, son. There was no other way. The cleaner, the packer. They gave their lives for the cause, son. Their sacrifice allowed the rest of the congregation to flourish in a new store, and you and I will lead them. Uh, I need to make some preparations, Father Wilcox. We'll make a quick stop by your apartment, but before we do, I need to ask you something. Father? Do you trust me? Of course, Father. Charles provides. Charles does indeed provide. Now let's save money and live better. And this was, once again, October 2022. It's had 19 revisions and was last touched 1185 days ago, which is begs further questions about why this entry looks like this, but it feels like this was written by somebody who just really, really, really didn't like working at Walmart. That's the vibe I'm getting from this entry, is that somebody had a job at Walmart, did not enjoy their time working at Walmart, and wrote this. Because, like, that's clearly a Walmart. But that's going to do it for this episode. And the next one, we're going to be checking out Purgatory, Doppelgangers, The Words of Akul Hill, Staff Placeholder, and Semantic Dissociator. Was it 2, 3, 4, 5? I have to assume there's going to be at least one Keter in the next episode as well. But if you liked it, a like and a subscribe will be groovy. If you want to click the bell, you can do that as well so that you're notified of future uploads. And I'm gonna do something about my throat being in pain. I don't know why this episode messed me up as bad as it did, but I'm gonna go take care of that later.